I started to learn computer
You see okay?
programming around like the end of ninth grade. And you know, coming from like an Indian family, it was more like, you know, you're either a doctor or an engineer. There's really like nothing else you can do. So when I discovered like computer science, it was really cool for me because like programming, like if you look at it, it looks really I would say geeky. Like you look at it and you're like, I don't know what this is. But once you start like trying it, you realize that it's like a giant puzzle game. It's like you can make a program. I remember my first program, I made like two numbers add together, and then it would give me like an output. And I was really excited because I was like, oh, I made that. And now you can use that same concept to like make games and like make basically anything. And technology doesn't have to be just programming. It can also be computer hardware. It can be like, this is intro to computer tech, right? So I think you learn a lot more like Excel and like Microsoft Word too.
Yeah, Word,
so,
Excel, PowerPoint.
Yeah, so that's also part of technology. And you can even go further on. I'm also into like video and like photography. And even though that seems more artsy than like technological, that's actually like part of technology too. Because when you like upload a video, you know, there's like different video files, .avi, .mp4, and you have to like convert like the frames per second, and like there's actually a lot more to it than you might think. And yeah, I guess that's basically my experience in technology, and I'll hand it over to Kat to talk about hers.
Okay, I'm Kat. I started with computer programming in the 10th grade because I took Intro to Computer Technology as a prerequisite for website design because my dad is a computer programmer. He's a .NET developer, and he's been trying to get me to try a computer class. And so in website design class, I learned HTML and CSS, and it was really, really fun. It's what you make websites out of. And we couldn't build anything dynamic because we didn't have any client-side programming like JavaScript. But it still made these really beautiful websites, and it was really cool to learn. And I went on to take the Visual Basic class, which is one term and really, really easy. And it was a lot of fun, and that was my first real taste of like a text-based language with, it's all math-based. And so you can take an input and you can manipulate it and get an output. And every single time you encounter something awful, it like hurts you inside. It's like a personal offense. And it's like, why is this happening? I need to fix it. And when you fix it, it's like the best sense ever. And solving these problems is really fun. I went on and I took AP Computer Science. You did too. Mm-hmm. And we did Java programming, and that was also really fun. And that took us a lot farther, and we learned data structures and more advanced topics. And every single new thing we learned was so much more interesting and so much more fun. And even if it was challenging, it's like the good kind of challenge. Like when you're exercising and your muscles start burning, and it hurts, but it's a good kind of hurt. And so I kept going by myself after that. I started working on problems on a website called projecteuler.net, where they provide math problems that you solve with programming. And I used that to practice over the summer, and I actually got an internship. And it was a 6-week software engineering internship. And I went to this company called Sport Engine, and I worked on a server for them. With my friend, I wrote an entire server that would help improve workflow there. And so they can upload things to the server, and the server will communicate directly with Amazon servers, and it can help push code to production, which is a site that you see online, and it can also help them test code. And it was incredible. I learned server-side languages, and I got experience with Ruby on Rails and with Node.js, and every single new thing I learned was great. It was incredible. And it's like learning every single new topic in a subject, and every single time you learn it, it gets better and better, and you realize that it's more in-depth, and this is what people are doing out in the real world, and it's so great. And I was invited back for another internship in the summer, and I'm waiting to go back. And in the meantime, I'm looking at computer hardware, because that is also really cool, and how computers are built and what they look like on the inside and how they work.
And we just did that last week.
Oh, another thing I'd like to add is there's another thing called database that I'm currently really interested in. It's kind of where, like, you know, you have like a lot of data, and where does it all go? A good example of that is like a search engine. Like, how does it pull out like certain pieces of data? Because you actually get to learn that if you take this one thing called SQL. And like for example, like some like really crappy search engines, if you type in car, it'll also get results for carpet because it has the word car in it. So it's a really good way to like kind of manipulate it and kind of figure out like what to do with the data and make sure you only get like the word that you're looking for and not anything but, you know, it's like that's why like where Google has this whole like patented thing where they have like certain way to retrieve data, and it's kind of fun to learn.
So, just real quickly, what does this award mean to you? I mean, were you surprised by it, the outcome of it? What does it mean to you personally?
Well, I kind of signed up for it as a joke because my friend Annalise signed up for it last year and she won at the state level and she was a national runner-up. And then Mrs. Cootie, who's the comp tech teacher, is like, oh yeah, you should sign up too. And so I filled out the information, and it was really difficult to come up with like things that I'd done in society because I guess some of the things that I don't consider a big deal, other people think it's like, whoa, somebody has this skill. Like for my church, I run the PowerPoint show so that people can like see the words while the singers sing, and I don't know, I don't consider that a big deal. It's just a little bit of volunteering. I'm only there for like an hour on weekends, and people are like, whoa, you do that? That's so neat. You're part of the church tech. And so the Aspirations Award was really like, we acknowledge that you have these skills, and which was really weird because when you do all this self-study, there's not really a culmination of your ideas and your abilities until someone else recognizes it outside.
Yeah, this award is really encouraging. Like, I almost didn't apply because you have to write 3 essays for it, and I'm kind of a lazy person. I didn't really want to write all that much, but my computer science teacher pushed me to apply, and I'm really glad I did. Again, like Kat says, a lot of things that don't really seem like a big deal, they actually are a big deal to them. And, it really encourages you that, yes, I am going in the right direction. I really want a career in technology. And, if I'm getting recognized for it, it makes it kind of boost your self-confidence, and it makes you work even harder, which is great.
So let's cheer these young ladies on.